Good evening, Fissler families, and welcome back to our 2020-2021 school year. I hope that tonight you get to learn a lot about your child's class and about our great programs at Fissler. I know that this year is very different, but what is consistent is our strong instructional program focusing on the whole child. Tonight, you're going to learn a lot about your child's class. And next week, I'm going to offer meet and greets with me and with our counselor and with our assistant principal so families can come and learn more about our school. I hope that you learn a lot about your child's class tonight, and please remember that we are always here to engage with you. I hope everyone has a great night.
Good evening and welcome to Fissler School 6th grade Back to School Night for the year 2021. My name is Dale Friesen and I will be hosting you for the beginning part of this presentation. This is our 6th grade team. Your students are in middle school now, so they will be rotating. We will introduce ourselves a little bit more in a moment, but I thought we would kind of get down to business, get a little important information, and then we can leave some time at the end for questions if you have any questions, okay? So first of all is their schedule. It may seem a little confusing, but the kids pick it up really quick. The main thing here is that every day school starts at 8 o'clock during distance learning, and if the students can log into homeroom at 8 o'clock on Zoom, they will be right where they need to be. I do want to highlight something here though. Every day we have office hours. So this is a little unique because of distance learning, but you'll notice Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we have office hours at 11:25, and Wednesday we have office hours at 8:15. And so this is a great time for students to come talk to their teachers, ask any questions, clarify. They can even just come and say hi. So whatever needs to be done, we're just hanging out, waiting to talk to them for whatever they need, okay? So a big thing right now, of course, with distance learning is the expectations of online learning. So we are having regular class. We do expect them to be in class every day, and we're treating this just like regular school as much as possible. And so we do hope that they will come logging in at 8 o'clock with the do school mentality. Breakfast eaten, teeth brushed, hair combed, in a chair, dressed for school, those kind of things. Another big thing, of course, is distractions. The kids, as we all do, we tend to get a little distracted with other electronics, phones, toys, things like that. So we are asking as much as possible if the kids can have a place to work and things like that. It will really help them focus. Practical things like keeping food and drinks away from computers, whether they were in school or at home, that would be appropriate. Video camera should always be turned on during Zoom, and microphone might be muted. Their chat is used for educational purposes, the chat that's inside the Zoom, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. Computer use agreement, please monitor your students. Your students and you and us, we're all responsible to help them have success and stay on task. And so in regards to the chats, now this is specifically talking about when we're chatting or the chat room that's inside the Zoom. We would really ask that the kids would not have other side chats, Google Hangouts, iMessage, things like that. Very distracting. And the chats in Zoom are for educational purposes. The kids know this. We should be asking questions in there, answering questions, helping each other out, things like that, staying on task. No spamming. Okay, what that means is just putting a whole bunch of stuff inside the chat that makes it hard to keep track of. It's off topic. It clutters it. I've had a student before that just pressed the Z key and there was 1,000 Z's in there and it just, clogged up the system. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. There is a Middle School 360 page, all right, and there is a small bit.ly link here. And so what I want to do is click on that real quick just to give you an idea what that's going to look like. And so that 360 page is available on PowerSchool Learning, and It has a lot of links on it, and it's for middle school. You'll notice it has Miss Omir's classes here, even our counselor, Miss Gallardo, 7th and 8th grade. Mr. Sleen is right here, and mine is here, and Miss Wang is right down here. And it has a lot of information. Communication, our emails, let's see, what else we got? Web page. I know for me the web page is important because I have all the homework listed there, easy to access. The daily agenda, if you're interested, just kind of what we're going to do today. Again, the schedule would be here. Distance learning rules. So some things like that we want to try to keep track of. Let's see. And then just some other enrichment kind of things that we might want. So let's see here. We'll go back to the presentation. And so, all right, writing down and accessing homework. It's a little different because we're not actually in class. Our homework is available on our websites. It's available on Google Class. We would ask the kids to write it down though, especially since they have 4 teachers now to try and keep track of things. However they decide to organize it, it really is a good idea to write down their homework somewhere. I know for me, I'm still a little old school. I use a yellow pad or I use a notebook sometimes, and I write down things that I have to do in my lists and things like that. I kind of use both, use the computer. And so whatever works for them. If your student says, I'll just remember, please check and call them on it. There's really just too much to just remember. But it is all accessible online. All right, assessments. This is tests, and some of the tests are for school, for grades. Some of the tests are like iReady, okay? And so one of the things we would really ask, and this is very difficult during distance learning, and that's why we need your help, is please allow and encourage the students to do all their own assessments. Getting help to do their assessments is not going to help them. If it's for school and for a grade, one of the reasons we need to know that is because we need to tailor our teaching for where they're at, and the tests help us assess what level the students are at, your particular student, so we can meet their need. You can see that iReady is covered a little on the bottom there. iReady will not be used to help their placements for next year. So helping them or having them do better than they actually would do would not be helpful, okay? So no matter what it is, please encourage your students to just do the best they can, and that will benefit them the most across the board.
Parents, I'm Miss Wang. Just a little bit about me. I lived in Hawaii for 10 years prior to coming back to California. This is my 3rd year at Fissler. My kids are on the top left. Madden's a 5th grader here at Fissler. Barron's a 1st grader, and my daughter Valentine's at Arborland, and she's 4. That's me in the bottom corner. That's my favorite place to be besides Hawaii is Disneyland. I'm going to be talking about PowerSchool. This is the online grading program that students and parents they have separate logins for. You can go to the office to get your information. This is the website that you access all of that at. Here is what it would look like. The name of the classes on the left, the trimester, and then the letter grade and the percent. When you open up the assignments, you will see flags in the middle. If you see green check marks and no grade, that's okay. That means the assignment was just collected. If you see flags that are like that, you can look down here and it says blue is incomplete, orange is missing, and red is late. If a gray eye appears, that means there's more information, and if you click on the view button on the side, you can access that. Letter grades in middle school are traditional. The A- is at 90, and then the A is at 93, and it follows all the way down. Students for math and technology will be accessing everything at Canvas, and parents, you will be going to the 360 Distance Learning website for your information, and I'll show you what that looks like. When students go to Canvas, this is the home page. They'll see a bunch of different buttons. Those are all links that they can access what they need to get to. A schedule is also listed there, as well as their Zoom links and a link to PowerSchool grades. Parents, when you get to the middle school website, I'm on the bottom. You'll see the syllabus link there. So anything that you missed today, you can click on the syllabus and access that. You can also get the agenda. You can also see the homework listed for each day as well. Technology. Our main program for technology is going to be coding, and it's an introduction to Python, and the curriculum is through TechSmart. It's an online program. The kids will also be learning about spreadsheets and math, so there are other tech tools that the kids might see on their technology grade. Grading for technology is traditional, so a 9 out of 10 would just be 90% and A minus. For math, it's based on a rubric grade. So for math, this is the rubric grade, and this is what the PowerSchool grade would look like. So if an assignment says 3.5 on the top, in PowerSchool it would be listed as 93%. Practice, homework and daily math review, those are both practice, so it can't help or hurt the grade. It's just for practice for the students to keep remembering and keep their skills sharp. What is graded are weekly skills tests. Those are quizzes. They are allowed to retake those. I'll go into that a little bit later. Classwork and tasks, not everything is going to be graded, but certain ones are going to count. And end of module or end of chapter tests will count, but there are no retakes for those. Late work. Students may turn in work late, but I wouldn't depend on it. It does affect their grade. If something is turned in within 1 week, you can see it drops 1 grade. So if a student was supposed to get an 85, they turn it in late, they will only get a 78. If a student turns in something within 2 weeks late, it will drop 2 grades. So that same assignment that would have gotten an 85 now is going to drop to a 70%. And anything past 2 weeks will not be accepted. The 0 will stay a 0. Retakes are allowed in math, and so I mentioned earlier the skills tests are weekly quizzes. Those the students can retake 1 time per skills test, and the max grade that they can get is an 85%. So if they score below an 85%, they could then retake the skills test during an office hours, and whatever the retake score is, that's the score I'm going to go with. So if the retake score is lower, unfortunately, that's the score that will go into PowerSchool. For tech, any coding assignment can be revised for a max grade of 80%. What that means, if they finish an assignment and there are errors in it and the code doesn't run, I will go in and try and find their errors for them and give them hints on how to fix it. If they come in and they fix the assignment on their own and then they come in during office hours and show me that it works, then they will get bumped up to an 80%. This does not apply to quizzes though. And I've told the students this, if you want an A on an assignment, you have to earn it the first time. An A stands for excellence. So that means the assignment is done well the first time, because if you can see, any retake or revision will only earn a max grade of a B. And that's it for math. If you have any questions, you can answer during our Q&A time.
This is Mr. Friesen again. I thought I would introduce you to my family. This is my lovely wife, Lisa, and I have 2 boys, Evan and Trenton. They are both in college now. They did go through Fissler. They survived my class and 6th grade and middle school and Sunny Hills, and so they are baseball players. And so I do understand what you are all going through. My subject this year will be mainly social studies. We study ancient civilizations from the very beginning, how the world began, Egypt, India, China, Greece, Rome, Israel. So we have a lot of things from a long time ago we're going to take a look at. And then also PE and health. And of course that's going to look a little bit different this year. We do a few things. We did some stretches today, but we will be adjusting that for distance learning. My main focus, no matter what, whether we're at school, online, anywhere, is positive attitude and strong effort. We will talk about alcohol and drugs and tobacco a little bit this year, basically on not so much what they are, but the choices, peer pressure, things like that. We'll talk about social emotional health, and we will be discussing nutrition and exercise as well. So we'll just adjust for distance learning, and when we come back to school, we will talk some more about PE clothes and all those kind of things.
Hi parents, my name is Katie O'Mara and I teach 6th grade reading and language arts. This is my family. And I've entered in here for you a link to my syllabus if you wanted to note and type in that bit.ly link, but it's also available for you on the Middle School 360 page. I have posted some of the most important standards for sixth grade reading. We have less concepts than something like, say, math, but we'll go deeper with those concepts each time we review them. So if your child struggles with something the first time we do it, know that we most likely will come back to it, but we'll just be adding another layer as well. These are some of the most important ones for language arts. We have a heavy emphasis on pronouns as well as non-restrictive elements, so it's commas, parentheses, and dashes for punctuation there. We do weekly vocabulary lessons and assessments surrounding Greek and Latin roots. And this is just showing you point values that would be assigned to different categories of assignment types. Students who don't necessarily perform well on tests, if they do everything else and they're putting in their best effort and they're doing things with detail, they're still going to be able to do well in the class. But of course, we want them to achieve mastery of the content also. In order to set themselves up for success, I'd like them to start using what's called race formatting for their open responses. So this means they're going to restate the question, answer the question, cite evidence to support their answer, and then explain why that evidence they picked does support their answer. So the big one students usually have the most trouble with is the C and the E. So we're going to try and work on that with them as we progress throughout the year. But just so you know, that's kind of the expectation. For late work, I will only accept late work for 2 weeks after it's been entered. And then students will need to come to office hours to have the late work graded or adjusted. So that's something that might differ from other teachers. I just want to make sure that they understand they're going to need to come in during those 30-minute office hour windows that we have set aside each day for them. They just tell me what they have updated, and then I'll fix the grade immediately. So it's kind of nice in that sense, but they do need to come to office hours for late work. If you need to get in touch with me, my email is here for you. I also will send out one-way messages to you if you'd like for just details, last-minute reminders or changes to things via this app. So you can just sign up for one of these. They're all for me. So if you sign up for all 4, you might get the same message 4 times. So just ask your child what their homeroom is if you're not aware, and just sign up for that one, and I'll send messages there. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the writing teacher. And I'm the science teacher. If you want to know who messed up the Zoom codes last week, Jinja! I'm sorry. So, I want you to know this because we are 2 totally different people. Totally different people. I don't get science. And I find writing very challenging. So, when you talk to us this year, we just want to make sure that you know, to keep our sanity, that we're going to answer writing questions on writing day and science questions on science day. And I think that's it. We'll show you the rest of it because there is some things we have in common. I already love this group. You're not supposed to say that until Thanksgiving.
And this is what we have in common. That's my son Trevor. He just graduated from Dana Hills High School. That's my daughter Natalie on the right. She's a junior at Dana Hills High School. And my youngest Nicole, she is just starting Dana Hills High School. This is 2 years ago. So, as you just noticed, there's 2 of us. I'm the science teacher. This is my PowerSchool page. And I also have a Google Classroom page. And that's where you'll go to find all of the stuff that keeps you informed. But like Mr. Friesen said, don't depend on coming to a website. Write down a list of things you need to get done. And I'm the writing teacher, and I also have a PowerSchool page and a Google Classroom page. And ditto, just like what Mr. Celine said. You're going to be able to go here and see all kinds of stuff and write down your assignments. I went to Columbia University last summer in person and this year virtually. And this year my teacher was Lucy Calkins, and all of the teachers that work there are authors and founders of Writers Workshop. So it was a really awesome experience to be able to go there and be taught by her. And this trimester we're going to start with narratives. That's small moments in time. And then we're going to do informative in trimester 2 and argumentative writing in trimester 3. So if you want to see what they're doing, ask to see their writer's notebook. That'll really hold them accountable. And then one thing to point out is both in Google Classroom and on Haiku, whenever you hand something in, there's a digital record. So if nothing's been handed in, it'll show 0, and if something's been handed in, it'll have a 1 or more. Best way to communicate is email and the page that Mr. Friesen showed you on Distance Learning 360.